basically the same as last year.
That's correct.
Difference is going to be the days.
And just on a related subject, several years ago, there was a similar logjam that occurred with valuations and tax rate reports before the Department of Revenue. And the Department of Revenue, the state did pass a law that provided that bills could be mailed up until January 31st. And if they were mailed prior to January 31st, they would be due payable 30 days thereafter. I have had some discussions with Representative Jones and his staff about seeing whether such an option would be available for the deadline that's upon us right now. Many towns have not had their tax rates approved. And so this would not only benefit North Reading, but would probably benefit 80% of the communities statewide that have yet to get their tax rates approved. And again, it was done before, but it takes special legislation. Number 4.
Any questions you have? No.
Go ahead. Number 4, interviews for the consultants interested in providing the town with police and fire chief assessment center services. Those interviews have been completed. A subcommittee consisting of Selectman Joe Vito, Dave Hanlon, and I interviewed several firms with the required experience to perform civil service assessment centers, and these would be to permanently fill the vacancies for the respective positions. I will be undertaking reference checks in the next few days, and will be alerting the board as to my decision with hiring a consultant. You'll recall we have $18,000 set aside in the budget, and both of the firms that we did interview are within that budgetary amount. With the coming holidays, I would expect the actual assessment center exercises would commence shortly after January 1st. However, prior to that date, the consultant will be working with the town in developing a program, and that program ultimately needs to be submitted to the State Human Resources Division, which administers civil service, for their approval.
Is there a, assuming that in the process, a candidate for each position is going to qualify?
Yes.
Is there a date to which you're targeting to make those appointments at this point?
I always say what I've said before is I don't have a particular day. We're not obligated. There's no legal requirements that we complete the decisions by a certain date. It's not as though there's an expiring list that we're dealing with.
No, I think my question was more related to, have you set a date that you want to get this done?
Yeah, again, my goal is to conduct the assessment center after January 1st. That's the only date that I can really commit to. Understand that as part of the assessment center process, we'll be bringing in people from the outside who will be running these assessment centers. There are scheduling issues that we need to do within the holidays. It's just not a good time to do this because of limited availability of individuals to service.
I wasn't concerned with that. I was concerned with, given you get it started after the first of the year, right? There's a process of the interview and getting everything scheduled, and then there's got to be some state approvals, I would imagine, right? So what's, I'm trying to get a feel for how long a process that might be. I'm not trying to nail you down to a date, absolute date, but are we talking about a 3-month cycle, or?
I didn't get the impression.
I didn't get that impression.
I got the impression, originally before we began the interview, my fear was that it would turn into a longer process. It certainly appears that 3 months would be the outside opportunity in terms of, it actually seems to be a much quicker process than the traditional civil service exam, which sometimes takes up to 6 months to receive the results of the certified exam package. I think it can be accomplished within easily 3 months.
Yeah, I agree, Mr. Mackey. I think it can too.
Question?
Yes, Mr.
Concurrently or consecutive?
The goal would be to do the fire, we pledge to do the fire chief position first, is open first, and so we'll proceed with that assessment center first. It might be a day or two before the police chief position, but the main goal is to do the fire chief position first.
Okay, so we're going to finish the fire chief first and then do the police after that? Or
Please,
they don't do them concurrently?
Okay,
concurrently?
well, if I may, Mr. Valiakonis, if one of the companies who we spoke to, what they will do is, there's a tremendous amount of groundwork that's laid by them. They will do all of that at once for both police and fire. The actual assessment center of the candidates, they're gonna do the fire department first and then the police department.
Yes.
Right? But all the groundwork will be done. All the
You're
groundwork.
talking there only a few days, or
That's
a
right.
week or two.
That's right.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
not-
yeah.
No, I think
I
don't
was
want-
more
no, I'm
concerned
not trying
with
to
the
make it sound-
process after that.
You're talking more about
associated
days.
with dealing with civil service and getting
No.
all those approvals.
No, they will just simply notify civil service what they have and what they've done in civil service, okay? Because they're approved by civil service to do this.
Is there a plan that they would interview the selectmen?
They will meet with us.
They've been
As
asked
a group
to-
or individually, or what's that plan?
That's yet to be determined how that will take place, but rest assured, your opinions will be solicited, and they will be solicited early in the process.
Super. Thank you.
Very
Yes.
good. Very good.
If there are no further questions on that, I would like to just skip over number 5, because number 6 is a related matter, and it involves, had been asked by several of the board members about plans for filling the temporary vacancies that exist in the police department. And those are the temporary vacancies that need to be filled prior to making a permanent police chief appointment. They would involve the sergeant position. Again, the town intends to initiate that process by filing the necessary requisitions with the Human Resources Division by the end of this week. So that will then result,
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
by the end of this week.
Okay.
And that will then result in those lists being issued typically within 10 days to 2 weeks. The candidates will be notified, and then we will proceed with interviewing and making a temporary appointment for those positions to serve until such time as the permanent chief is qualified and selected. So it's all kind of confusing because we just appointed a lieutenant 2 weeks ago. This is a companion process.
Okay.
Number 5, just go back, as you know, the town is involved in converting to the Munis financial software system. Our target date for cutover is July 1 of 2008. And as a companion to that, I've been reviewing vendor proposals to provide us with some additional project oversight during the installation and to ensure that we meet the necessary critical deadlines associated with the project. It's my view that the town lacks the time and expertise to guarantee that we can adequately meet that deadline. And it's not a reflection of the fact that people here don't know what they're doing. They do know what they're doing. They just don't necessarily have the time. And I don't want this to be something that falls behind. So no decisions have been made, but I did want to alert the board of my intentions. And my goal would be to work within the existing funds that we have available. So, just a reminder that the town hall offices will be closed for Thanksgiving on both Thursday and Friday. And that is town hall and the other town offices in the community. And as you can see here as a final note, I will request under item number 9 an opportunity to address 2 issues with the board in executive session. Thank you.
On the, just as a note on the Thanksgiving closing, I believe the warrants are going to be ready on Tuesday.
I was asked by the
Is it
finance
Tuesday or
department.
Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Going to be Wednesday, okay.
Board members can come by Wednesday
Okay.
afternoon.
Okay,
That would be appreciated.
yeah.
Wednesday afternoon?
Well-
Will you ready Wednesday morning?
I think they'll be ready Wednesday.
Oh, they will be?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes.
So when you say Wednesday afternoon, what time is that? You thinking noon time?
I'll get that, I'll get you a time if you.
No, I mean, I just wanted to plan my day. I'm
It's just
my
early,
first in the
that's why,
morning,
yeah,
it's
it's
gonna be
just
ready at, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning for the work. I'll go on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'll send you a note just indicating.
Whatever you say.
I don't want you to show up
They're not ready, yeah.
I'm at your beck and call.
Thank you, sir.
You say jump, and I say how high. That's all I got to say.
Couple of questions. I know you sent me a note, but Council on Aging, the construction, the offices, we budgeted in October.
Yes, $20,000.
What's the plan?
We've decided that that would be a great cold weather project, and we have pushed it up our priority list. It was originally envisioned as being a spring 2008 project. I've spoken with Mr. Hamlin, and although I can't commit to a specific date, we're expecting that the renovation of the senior center offices will be taking place over the winter months and completed before springtime.
And then regarding youth services, you and I had a discussion, and there was, the plan was to close off and make some additional space in, I don't remember the meeting room over there. The
Room 10?
Room 10. But then I heard this morning at a meeting that the plan has changed. Is that true or not?
You've heard correct.
Okay, so what are we doing now?
Our goal is to renovate the existing space that's there. If you know room 10, which is where the CPC meets, there's a small enclosed office that the door is never open and the shade is never up. It's used by a part-time sealer of weights and measures, and we will be renovating that office, leaving the rest of the room as it is, and relocating the seal and measure and weights equipment to another area. There's no reason for that office to be sitting vacant, and I don't know. There'll be minimal construction and virtually no disturbance on it.
So when will that office be available to?
I don't have a specific time frame. I can tell you that the building maintenance department was directed last week to proceed with the plan that I just advised the board on. And that was really closure on the issue and brought them out into a conclusion, because I had heard the same thing as you, that we build new space. There's no reason to build new space.
It's a priority. Are we gonna give it a priority? She's
I
sitting in
don't-
the hallway now.
She's
This is good time. You know,
she's
this
got
is-
space.
We're coming up on December vacation.
There's nothing wrong.
she's got space.
She's in 10, right?
Yeah, she's got a space.
Right, but what I've heard, this is the issue, is there's two issues. One is that when when that room is needed for meetings, she's asked to leave, and, one day she was in here working.
Right.
And then the second is that there's not a lot of privacy over there dealing with some of the other issues that she's supposed to be dealing with.
Sure. And I, when they say I can't commit to a specific date, I can't, because the building maintenance department was just informed last week this is what we intend to do. And I'd like to speak with Mr. Hanlon first and confirm a date and time, and I'd be happy to appoint the board.
We
once
can give it a
it's scheduled.
priority, though. I mean, she's like, right? Why can't we give it a priority?
Oh, no, it is. It is. I see no reason
Can I
why.
raise one more thing about that room? Okay? Ventilation. I don't know if there's proper ventilation in that room, but I'm sure that they'll look at, Mr. Hannon will look at that, right?
Yeah, we're gonna
Weights and measures.
We're gonna replace that inoperable window that's there right now with the unit that slides. So we're anticipating that there'll be airflow for that purpose. And the door is open. But there's also no heat in there. But again, it's a room within a room.
Right.
So I'm not expecting that it's gonna be a big problem. But I'd be happy to get back to the board members and understand your concerns. I'll get back and confirm a date.
I'd appreciate that.
Sure.
Okay, anybody have any other questions for Lieutenant Administrator? Who wants to start, Mike?
Just to say that
All the
the,
new business.
just to say that the Thanksgiving dinner was always fun. It was a good time this year. The singer, Sergeant Clark, he was something else. This year, that guy. Other than that, nothing really. Just a happy Thanksgiving.
Joe?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. Yes, thank you. I also want to echo Mr. Harris's thoughts on the Thanksgiving Day celebration that was held at the Hillview Country Club last Sunday. to the generous donation